Hello and welcome to the World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of reflexologists who have a passion for helping people have better health. And in fact, we have a belief that if people around the world had reflexology to use on themselves, that the world could be a healthier place. Our mission is to improve health worldwide through self-help reflexology. What's reflexology? Reflexology is a way of helping ourselves to stay in good health. It's called prevention. And if we do have aches and pains and different discomforts, then it's a way of sometimes helping us feel better. How is it done? Well, reflexology is done by using our touch in nurturing ways on maps of the body that are believed to exist on the feet, on the hands, and on the outer ears. And let's take a look at some charts that'll show you what reflexology is visually. So now let's take a look at the World Reflexology Foundation color coordinated chart. If you notice on the left, there's the human body, the lady, but it would be the same for the man. And the colors from the top to the bottom, from the top of her head to her feet. Well, we're going to take a look at those in a minute, but notice on the feet and hands, that they're also the same colors, going from the top down to the heel of the feet and the wrist of the hands. So let's take a look. Notice the purple color of her head and neck. But that color is color coded. If you go to the toes, you notice it's the same purple color as it is in the fingers. That's indicating if you have problems, stress in your head and neck, that you would go to the fingers and toes to help get relief. If you come to the body again and notice the blue, that's for the chest area. And that means chest in front, heart and lungs inside, everything inside the chest, and then the shoulders and back, because when the shoulders are actually the top and back of the chest. And we go to the same color, the blue, on the feet and on the hands. And now if we go back to the human body, we look at the yellow and the orange. The yellow is upper abdomen, the orange is lower abdomen. And that's where you'd work on the feet, the yellow for upper abdomen, and the heels for lower abdominal pelvic area. And on the hands, similarly, the yellow for upper abdomen, the heel of the hands, the orange for lower abdominal pelvic area issues. So that's for the feet, hands, and ears as far as from the top down. Now let's take a look at the legs. Notice they're red, and you go to the small red spots on the feet and on the hands. Notice the cursor that's showing you. And then go to the arms. Notice the green representing the arms. And notice the cursor is going to show us on the outer edge of the feet, below the small toe to the heel, and also the outer edge of the hands from the small finger down to the wrist. And then down the middle of the human body, notice that there's something that looks like a ladder. And that's representing the spinal reflex area from the neck all the way down to the lower pelvis area. And if we go to the feet, notice where the feet come together below the big toe down to the heel. That's for the spinal reflexes on the feet. And on the hands, similarly, we're below the thumb down towards the wrist for spinal issues. Then let's go to the ears and think when we were children, we used to try to do headstands on the ears, headstands. And notice the purple is on the bottom instead of the top. That's because the image of the human body and the outer ear is upside down. So for head and neck issues, the purple, we'd work with the earlobe area. The blue is for the chest reflex area. The yellow and orange are for the upper and lower abdominal areas. The red is for the legs, leg reflexes. The green for arm reflexes, shoulder all the way up to the finger top where the cursor is now. That would be for the fingertips. And then notice the spinal reflexes, that curved area. So these are the maps that we use for the feet, hands, and outer ears, showing you what the concept of reflexology and the reflexology pressure maps.
So let's see if you can all see my ear. And let me see if I can get a speaker view here. Should be on the speaker view. Okay, great. So we're going to first do the headache and the sinus point. So as Kathy mentioned, the head area is at the bottom on the lobe here. So the headache point is, remember that little flap of skin right here, that flap? Right below that is the headache point right across here. And so and then right, if you go a little, I'm going to show you two at the same time because they're so close. And then if you just move a little bit towards the front, where your ear meets your, the front being where your ear meets your face, and move a little bit forward, there's the sinus point right there. So I'm going to show you how to hold it. What you do is you do like a little C-clamp almost. You put your thumb at the back. See if I can do it on the side here. The thumb will be at the back. And then below that flap, we're going to do that headache point right here. And you're going to just hold that. Now, Karina already mentioned about doing it from 3 to 15 minutes or whenever you get relief. And you can actually also, you can move your finger around a little bit like this in a circle if you want, or you can just move it in different places on that below that flap of skin where that headache point is. So let's just hold it for a minute there, okay? And again, like Carino said, you can do one ear if you want, or you can do both ears. And if you choose, if you want to rest a bit, like he mentioned, you can put your elbows on the table. Good. Now shift your finger a little bit towards the front of your face. Oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in the wrong place here. This is the headache point right here under that big flap there. Okay. So just move a little bit towards the front of the face, and you've got the sinus point, which is almost still under that flap, but towards the front of the face. There it is right there. So you're going to hold there on the sinus point for a minute. You can also put your thumb behind to steady it. And again, you can do one side, both sides, whatever you're feeling. Great. So that's the headache point. Again, it's that flap on the bottom there, right here on the ear. Now let's look at it on the ear itself. So here's that flap, if you can see. And I'm going to put my thumb behind. And then at the bottom of that flap is the headache point. And then if you move your finger a little bit, this front finger a little bit towards the front of the face, that's your sinus point right there. Good. So that's the headache point and the sinus reflex point. Now let's talk about our allergy point, which is in a different place. Now this is a really effective point. Some people have had some really good results, and they've been doing it consistently every day, a few times a day. So it can be very helpful for allergies. So I'm going to show you first on the ear, and this time we're going to go to the very top of the ear. The very, very top. So I've actually got a pin in the top. So this is the very top of the ear. And we're going to do like almost a little C-clamp, and we're going to put it on the top and the bottom. So I like to do the finger going right here, and it's like a top to bottom. I'm going to put it on the side so you can see it. And then the thumb goes right on the top. So it's top to bottom. It's not back and front. It's like top to bottom, and here right under that furl. And I'm going to do that on the ear, like some of you are already. So I'm going to do top to bottom. I have to do this way. And this time I've got the thumb underneath because it's a little bit easier. So either way is fine, whether you have the thumb on the top or the thumb on the bottom is fine, so long as you're doing a sort of a top to bottom. Hold it for a minute. Let's hold it for a minute. Okay, great. Again, one ear, two ears, whatever feels right for you, resting your elbows. And that is the allergy point. And if you are having issues with allergies, please try this one. It's a really, really good one. And that's it for me.
Beautiful, Mita. Thank you. That was great. Oh, okay, now we've got Stephanie, who's going to lead us through 3 foot reflexology techniques for relief of headaches, sinus issues, and allergies. Stephanie.
Thank you, Kathy, and hi, everyone. So I will show you how you can work on your foot, and I will show you first on this plastic foot, and then I will show it on my own foot and guide you through it so that you can actually follow along. So we'll start with the big toe. Big toe represents head and neck and all of head and neck. So we will work for headache relief on the big toe. And what you could do is support with the fingers. Put the fingers supportive on the nail side of the big toe, and then place the pad of your thumb at pretty much at the top part of the big toe, and put a little bit pressure and bend and unbend. And we're using a thumb roll here. It's called a thumb roll, one of our unique reflexology techniques. So I'm bending and unbending my thumb and rolling across the tissue of the big toe. This way, you can cover the entire big toe, bending, unbending the thumb rolling across the tissue, softening up the tissue. And each time you're lifting off and start over again, you come a little lower. So we're including here actually the neck reflexes too, because sometimes headache can come from the occipital area or the lower part, the base of the head, and also from neck tension. And since we're working in a minute for sinus relief, when you're working the neck reflexes, that can already help you relieve some sinus issues. So that's the next thing what we'll do. And that for sinus relief, it works best when you work all 3 soft sides of the other toes. So a soft side is the bottom of the toe and the sides of the toes. So I'll show you how you can do that on the toe. You cradle one of the toes with the fingers on the nail side, and then you start a thumb roll from the top of the toe down to the base of the toe. And then you turn a little bit under the side between the second toe and the big toe. And then the other side. Oops, getting back into the picture. And this way you can work all the rest of the toes too. We already learned from Mita that we have an allergy point on the ear. Now, we do not have an allergy point on the foot. However, you can work the liver reflexes at the upper soft sole to relieve some reducing allergenic compounds, because the liver is a filter organ, filters the allergenic compounds and of course other stuff too. So working, and the liver in our body is mainly on the right side. Most part of the liver is on the right side. So we're working mainly on the right foot. This is the wrong foot, but this is a teaching tool anyway. So I'll show you later on my own foot and use the right one. Support the back of the foot with your fingers, and we're using a thumb roll again. Put it on the inner edge, on the soft sole, but starting at the inner edge, and thumb rolling across the entire tissue, across the entire soft sole of the foot until you're coming below the pinky toe. lift off and start over just a little lower now. So this way we can work slowly, methodically, thumb rolling. It's like inchworming across, but we do call it thumb roll. And that way you can cover the entire upper part of the soft sole. So now I will show you how you can actually work on your own foot.
She's muted. Shoot. Steph, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. I hope I just started to mute.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Kathy. So I tilted the camera a little bit, that muted me. Now I'm back. So I'll encourage you to follow along. If you're flexible enough to put your foot on your right foot on the left leg, and we'll start with the big toe again. Support with your right hand here, the nail part of your big toe, and start thumb rolling across the tissue, starting at the top of the big toe. Nice and slow. Coming across, now lifting off, starting a little lower. And this way you can cover the entire big toe. Thumb rolling across, including the neck reflex, because halfway down the big toe, we already have the base of the head, and we include that. Remember, you can also work the sinus reflexes here. Not the sinus reflexes, but when you work the neck reflexes, it helps to relieve some of the sinus issues already. Now we're coming to the sinus reflexes here on the toes, 3 soft sides of the toes. Remember, first we're cradling I put the big toe a little bit out of the way so that you can see it. Cradle the second toe with some of my fingers, index finger, middle finger, and start thumb rolling from the top of the toe to the base of the toe. Nice and slow. And I'm working the side of the second toe. And the other side, I can work with the index, and I can work with index finger and middle finger, or just with the index finger. There are always options. And this way you do all the other toes. I'm speeding it up a little bit, and when you do this at home, of course, you're working all the toes, nice and slow. For time reasons, we will move on to the liver reflexes. So liver reflex, as I showed you before, upper part of the soft sole, mainly on the right foot, because most part of the biggest part of the liver in your body is on the right side of the body. So support the back of the foot with your fingers so that you have something to push against, and thumb rolling from the inner edge on the soft sole, nice and slow across. So we're starting pretty much below the pad and the ball of the foot. All the way across if you can. If you can't reach it, you can actually come from the other side too. Then lifting off and start a little bit lower. Nice and slow. Thumb rolling across the tissue. In this way, you will work the entire liver reflexes on the upper part of the soft sole, mainly on the right foot. Some people might not be flexible enough to reach your own foot. You can use a tennis ball. Put it under the soft sole of your foot and roll it on the soft sole, but be gentle. Always be gentle with you. And this is it. I'll give it back to Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. That was great. All right, we've got one more. Finally, Tina she's going to take us through these same techniques that Stephanie just demonstrated, but on the hands. And she's also going to be showing us one more quick and easy way to relieve headaches. Tina.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to see you today. And thank you for Stephanie and the whole team here for doing such a good job. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I'm already feeling very relaxed. No headache to be found. My sinuses are clear and allergies are gone. So just with working with the ears and the feet. So it's fabulous. So I'm going to be showing you how to relieve these issues, the sinus, headache, and allergy issues, if you have them, on our hands. Just as you've heard previously, the reflex maps on the hands are very similar to the reflex maps on the feet. So our fingers on up represent the head and the neck. So we have our thumb here, and on the big pad of our thumb, that's where we're going to find the headache reflex points to help with relieving our headaches. So what you're going to do, now mind you, I'm a little challenged with demonstrating on a computer. So in a normal situation, you would be using your thumb to do that fabulous thumb roll that Stephanie was showing us. A little hard to show you on the screen with my thumb. So I'm just going to demonstrate it with my fingertip going across like so. And that's fine also. You can still use your fingertip. And you're just going to be covering that whole thumb pad, going all the way down to that first joint, which represents the head reflex. And this is fabulous for headaches. Now, when we get all the way down to that first joint, you may feel, bending your thumb, right underneath that, we may be very familiar, some of you who suffer from headaches, tension headaches, and you get that tension headache right at a point along the ridge of our skull, which is called the occipital ridge. That's located, that occipital ridge reflex point is right here. So you can really get in underneath that point to work if you're having a tension headache right underneath that occipital ridge. And again, going all the way across that thumb joint or that thumb pad. Now, and then you can go to the other hand and do it on the other hand also. Same thing for the allergy points. Those allergy points are located on the 3 soft sides of your fingers. So you have 1, 2, and 3 soft sides on your fingers. Easier said than said. So what you're going to do there is you're going to come in again with your thumb roll, and you're just going to come along and you're going to do a nice slow thumb roll all the way down one side of your finger. And again, because we're demonstrating, we have a short period of time to demonstrate, we speed things up a little bit. Just know that when you're doing this in the privacy of your own home, you're going nice and slow, taking big, deep, relaxing breaths, and always thinking happy thoughts as you go along. So now I'm going along. Again, I'm showing you for demonstration purposes. I would be normally like so. For that next one, you can bring in that 2-finger roll, and you're going to come along on the next soft side of your finger. And you can do little finger rolls this way. Once you complete that finger, then you're going to go to the next finger, the next, and so on. And then you can complete the whole routine over onto the next hand. So that is the allergy points on your, sinus points on your hands. For the allergy points, as Stephanie had said, we don't have that allergy point, but we reflex the liver point, reflex point, which is located in the same area just on the hand, which is right below this pad, right below it, in this upper soft sole of your hand. And what you're going to do there is you're going to come in again with your nice thumb roll. And you're going to go all the way across, feeling nice and relaxed. Now, because I'm demonstrating and I want you to see what I'm doing, I'm keeping my little fingers here nice and straight. But again, in the privacy of your own home, when you're doing this, you're just going to relax your fingers over so your hand is nice and relaxed. And you can get into all of those different reflex, that whole different reflex point. Okay. Looks fabulous, everybody. Glad to see you're coming along with me. So for the long-awaited mystery point for the headache relief, that is going to be located right here in this web. It's right between your thumb and your forefinger. You can feel the long bones there. It comes to a point. In the acupuncture world, that point is called the hoku. But we call it in reflexology world, the big web. What you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb, you're going to locate that area. Sometimes it may be tender. If you are experiencing a headache, it may be tender there. So just be aware. And you're just going to, again, just do that little thumb roll and you're going to go all the way up. And again, I'm going to bring in a finger, just it makes it a little easier for demonstration. And I'm going to go all the way up that long bone here in the hand. But you can work this whole area. You can work this whole area in that web. And again, if you find a sore or tender spot, feel free just to hold it for a moment. You can do gentle little circles. You could hold these points, again, anywhere between 2 to 15 minutes. Thinking nice, happy thoughts. If your thumb gets a little sore holding it there, you can switch to your finger. You can switch to the other hand. You can continue going on with the other hand. So you have options here. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Good to see a lot of you working on yourself, following along, not only watching, but also working on yourself. That's the idea. And by the way, in this video, we had to go very quickly to cover a lot of information. What we encourage you to do is to, like I'm going to do with my voice now, is slow down. Spend a lot of time working on those reflexes as frequently as you reasonably can as well. Now, after you do reflexology, it's often suggested to drink extra fluids to help keep yourself hydrated. And coming back to the reflexes for a moment, remember the top priority is the one that you want to work on most. If you don't have time to do all three, be sure to do the first one if you can physically. We'd love for you to share this information, help us spread the information around. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and also non-vocational. So it's self-help work that we teach here. And one of the things that we could ask your help for, we already mentioned one, which is to share this with friends and neighbors, family members. But also, we would appreciate your donations. Why? Because although we all at the World Reflexology Foundation, we're all volunteers, it costs us money to get some of the projects done that we're working on. For example, we're translating a lot of the articles that are on the website. If you go to the website, worldreflexologyfoundation.org, you notice that there are a lot of articles there, and also they're being translated into other languages from around the world, a long-term project, and also the videos. And eventually we'll get to having all the videos with voiceovers from around the world as well. So all of these projects are ambitious. They do take quite a bit of money. So if you have the situation where you could donate We would appreciate your helping us, but just be as generous as you can. But most importantly, it's not to help us with the projects as much as to help us get the projects out to the world, to help the world be, as we said at the beginning, to help the world be a healthier place through self-help reflexology. So bless you. Thank you so very much for being with us. And until the next time, we wish you very vibrant, good health.